You're welcome, Ingrid and Ola. You're welcome so much. You're welcome. Feel at home. This is the April Wiki Women workshop, and we are going to have a very fruitful discussion. We're looking forward to it, and I hope you also are. And we're here asking people to ask their friends to join as well, so we can start a discussion when we are as one and what we gain from here. You don't have to go and start telling your friends, oh, this is what I learned from the workshop. They have to come here and see it firsthand. So yes, keep calling your friends, inform them that their workshop has started. And yes, you're welcome, Vivian. You're welcome. Feel so much at home. This is a discussion for women and about women, and it's not just for women; it's for the whole society because we need to hear. We need to hear about where we've come from, where we're going, especially as the Wikipedia community, and that is one of our themes today. We also have a very special announcement to make, and I'm hoping that before we even make the announcement that more people could have joined. So we give them time. And you guys know how to keep time. We have 4 minutes, we give them 4 minutes so that to allow them to join. You're welcome, Mo and Catherine, Mal. Yes. And I hope you get to learn a lot from this discussion. I hope you get to be inspired by what you're going to experience. And I know that most people can have a clue about what the title is. You've seen from your invites, and we're here discussing women who have pioneered our rights. You know how we were, or the stories I hear about women back in the days, is we really, really did struggle to get a voice. And I can only imagine how big the struggle was if right now we're still struggling to get a voice and people are saying that it's better. But one thing I know is that it could not have been better if another woman somewhere did not sacrifice and get to be told, is if another woman somewhere did not sacrifice and so that us we can enjoy the rights and the freedoms that we have right now. And maybe as we wait for our friends to join, kindly share your name in the chat and the country you're joining us from. I'll go first, but maybe not the chat here. I'm Anne Veronica. My name is Anne Veronica Amboy, all the way from Kenya. Our code is 254. I don't know why I shared the code, but yeah, you cannot lack to say Kenya and 254 at once. And I am a journalist by profession. I am also a law student, and most of all, I am part of the Wikimedian community. So yes, you're welcome, Vivi from Nigeria. That's really nice. Kindly share your name and where you're joining us from. As I said, I'm from Kenya. My name is Veronica, so you can share. And Vivian has shared that she is from Nigeria. Waiting for more. You're welcome, Ruby. And again, tell your friends to join because this is going to be a discussion. They cannot miss this discussion that you're going to have. Adinka from Nigeria, you're welcome. Thank you so much for joining and kindly continue telling your friends to join because we don't want to leave anyone out. And Birusha from DRC Congo, wow, you're welcome. Kindly continue sharing your name and the country you're joining us from. And also remember to call your friends and invite them here. Call doesn't have to be only female friends, but call your friends, tell them to join here, to join us here because this is a very fruitful discussion. And I'm sorry that I'm repeating it a lot, but I'm trying to build emphasis. And yes, Mariam from Nigeria, it's good to be here. It's also good to be here. I also hope you're happy to be here and you're looking forward to learning a lot. You're welcome, Mariam from Nigeria. What we're doing right now is as we wait for our friends to join, we are sharing our name and the country we're joining from. Yes, for those who just joined. So kindly type your name in the chat and tell us where you're joining us from. And also tell us how you're feeling. Like we have been told, she feels nice to be here. It's nice to be here. I also am happy to be here. It's always a bigger discussion it's always what do we call it? An honor having a big girl talk because this is like a big girl talk. Yes. So kindly type your name and the country you're listening us from and you're joining us from, and feel very much welcome. You're welcome, Rosie. She is our guest for the day, but we're giving the others a little bit of time to let them join before we get into the icebreaker and give our guests some ample time to here and so that she can tell us what she has. And as I said, this is a big girl talk. Sorry, I called it that. But yes, we are girls here. We're going to have a very fruitful discussion about um, what we have done, what other women have done with rights and have fought for us, and like our guests today here. So yes, kindly continue welcoming people. If you're here, send hearts to your friends, like the messages that you can see in the chat box. I stopped at Mariam from Nigeria, who feels good to be here. Yes, good afternoon. Um, Kitlarit. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I pronounced that wrong. But from Botswana, good afternoon, and I hope you are feeling very well to be here and looking forward to the discussion. Emilia Modest joining from Tanzania, our neighbors here in Kenya. You're welcome, Emilia. Kindly call your friends, tell them to join as well as we start the discussion. Yes, Adenka, there's a chat in the by Rosie. She is asking that we run her slide deck. We also have a blessing from Nigeria. You're welcome. Thank you for blessing us with your grace today and grace in our event today. Thank you so much. We have Adeni from Nigeria. You're welcome. And yeah, good morning from San Francisco, Rosie. I hope it's a nice morning. But from this side, we have had a good day because we're about to finish from Kenya, and it's afternoon, evening actually. Yes. Mel Catherine from Cameroon, you're welcome. Can you continue sharing your name? We have Dauda from Tanzania. You are very much welcome. So kindly continue sharing your name, telling us where you're coming from as we wait for others to join us, and also tell them to join us. Remind them that we have this event happening today, and it's a big girl talk, but we're going to have really fruitful discussions about where we've come from as women, and Rosie is going to tell us about pioneering women's rights and also inspiring others to do the same. We have Edindiong from Nigeria. You're welcome. We have Beatrice from Zimbabwe. You're also welcome. Tell us, how do you feel this day? Are you happy to be here? Are you excited to hear from our guests? Yes. I would not like to take much of our time because we need to be on time. And I hope that Adainka is getting ready to give us an ice-breaking session. But as we wait for the others to join, keep calling your friends, tell them to be here because our guest is already on board. And we would like to start ASAP. We do not want to waste a lot of time. We do not want to have a lot of chit chat over here. We want to get right into business. But if you just joined us, kindly type your name in the chat box. Tell us where you're listening us from, or watching, or just joining us from, and so we can get to know ourselves and who we have on board. You're welcome once again, and I hope you do enjoy this session. Adenka, I also hope you're still getting ready to give us a nice breaking session. Yes, yes, yes. Let's see, we have a good number, and since we do not want to waste time, let's get into it. So as you continue calling your friends, I'm going to hand over the mic to Adenka as she gives us an ice-breaking session, which will prep us for this workshop. Adenka, over to you.
Thank you very much, Anne. And I want to also say welcome to everyone that has taken out of their time to join the workshop today. So now we'll be joining the icebreaker session. So let me kindly share the link so that we can all participate. So the link is about to be dropped on the group. Yes. So let's kindly join join so that we can all participate. So let's join. Let's join. Let's join. You're waiting for us. The link is now in the chat box. So let's join so that we can all participate in the icebreaker session and have fun together. So I'm waiting for us to join. That's why we've not started. So if you're on the call, kindly go to the icebreaker, go to the chat box. There is a link that's been dropped there. So join so that we can participate together in this fun icebreaker session because it's going to be fun, trust me. And we are setting the mood proper for we're setting the mood proper for the meeting today for this wonderful. Yes, we now have people, we have responses. Mm, okay. The first question says, what does claiming your space mean to you in one word? Mm, seat, yes, taking your seat at the right, the occupancy, yes, fitting in, being heard. It has to be your word, taking your word, taking the space. Yes. Getting your position, yes. That aimed position, getting it, taking charge, yes. Making sure everything is in place. Very true. Mm, very, very true. Confidence, yes. Because we need we have to be confident if we are taking the space. And yes, we are. Because I'm very sure by the end of the meeting today, our confidence level is going to be 100%. Mm. Yes. Talk about your own story. Yes. We own the story and we're talking about it. Very true. Very true. So let's go to the next slide. How confident do you feel using digital platforms to share your voice? How confident? I said we're going to be 100% confident after this meeting. So right now, how confident are you? Is it very confident? Is it somewhat confident? Is it I'm still learning to be confident or not confident yet? Mm, people are very confident. Yeah, let's go. Somewhat confidence, okay? We are still learning. It's okay to be learning. That's why we are here today. We are here to be empowered. Not yet confident. It's okay. It's okay. Because at the end, we'll be confident. Very, very true. Mm, we are still learning. I think a lot of us are very confident, which is a very good thing. Mm-mm. Yes, yes. So let's move to the next slide. What has stopped you or could stop women from taking up space online? Kindly share your response with us. And if you are yet to join the Mentimeter, kindly scan the code. What has stopped you before? Is it, oh, the fear of being left behind, the fear of being ignored, the fear of being criticized, the fear of being perfect? Before, a lot of women want to be perfect for them to be able to fit to show up online. I can see some response, not knowing what to do. Okay. fear and lack of confidence, lack of knowledge and not knowing where to start, low self-esteem. We have a lot of responses today. The intention of being ready before going online. Yes, I can relate to that actually. Never ending responsibilities, gender gap, and people discouraging newcomers. Very true. Very true. Mm. I think one of the things that are common in these responses is that word fear, incompetence, being bullied. Oh my God. Criticized, lack of confidence, lack of basic digital knowledge. Mm, mm, very true. Lack of access, that is true. A lot of women want to contribute, but they could not get access to digital skills and the right to. I could never agree more. Um, okay. Let's respond. Let's respond. We want to hear you. This is our safe space, and we are talking about, today we are talking about pioneering women. And the question is, what has stopped you? Is it lack of basic knowledge? Is it the fear of being the right mentorship? It is part of it. The fear of harassment, digital harassment. Very, very true. Mm, very, very true. So let's move to the next slide. If you fully claim your space online, what would you have done? What would you be known for? If you're starting today, what would you be known for? What would they call your name? What would they attribute your name to? So let's have it. What would you be known for? Is it a gender gap, a gender advocate? Is it a content creator? Women empowerment? No. Development advocacy, sharing knowledge. That's a very good. Humanitarian. That's also very good. Advocacy, gender advocates. Very true. Very true. Digital law, love it. Amplifying underrepresented voices. I would be known for improving people's mind health. That's mental health. Well done. That's a very good niche. Mm, wow. Beautiful, beautiful responses. Beautiful, beautiful. Wow. Mm. We have different people developing the women word. Very true. Raising the bar. Mm. Representing women. Mm. So let's respond. Let's respond. What would you be known for if you fully claim your space? We talked about claiming our space in the first question, where we say, okay, we are taking up the space, okay, we are showing up, we're being confident. And now, if you fully take up the space, what would you be known for? Is it public health? Very interesting aspects. Mm, mm. What would you be known for? Sorry, I'm trying to scroll down. Wow, we have reached the end of the beautiful and fun icebreaker session. I want to say thank you very much for everyone for joining me in this fun. I would admit it's very fun and insightful. Well done. And I wish you a very, very inspiring session. Thank you so much. Over to you, Veronica.
Thank you so much, Lenka. That was fun. I hope you guys had fun. Continue clapping for her and sending their ovulations. That was really nice and fun. And I also hope you can hear me. Yes. Thank you so much, Lenka. And there's one thing that I have realized. Fear really gets cripples women. And that's what we are here to fight against, because the women who fought for us had no fear. Now, for those who just joined us before pre the ice breaking session, the fun session that we just had from Adeinka. My name is Anne Veronica Wamboi. I'm a Kenyan. I'm a journalist by profession. I'm also a law student. And of importance today is that I am a Wikimedian, and I hope you people who are here are also part of the Wikimedian community and are here to enjoy this session with us. Um, Today we are having the April Wiki Women Workshop, and this workshop is titled Pioneering Her Rights. And if you have been following up on what has been happening throughout the month of March, either from the Wikimedian community and other institutions that really fight for women and they're focused on making a woman get better, you'd realize that there are two things that have been really coming up a lot: rights, equality, justice, action. And here in the Wikimedia community, our theme was give to gain. And if you combine those two, you'd realize that we're here talking about women who fought or women who gave so we can gain. You can imagine how hard it was at the time for that is back in the days of all the stories that we hear, how difficult it was, the lives of women were, how challenging to be a woman at the time. It was not fun. But right now, they actually are making us stand out and know that being a woman is actually a blessing. And if you're here today as a woman, please give me a heart so that I know that you are all proud to be women and you're welcome. Feel welcome, feel loved today, and we're having a big girl talks about the girls, about the women who fought for us, about the women who stood up, who got fearless. Can you imagine if those women had fear, where we would have been right now? Uh, I don't even want to imagine. Let's just close it at that. That's why we're here today discussing a very important topic, pioneering her rights. And we have our guest here today. I will introduce her in a minute. But before we get there, let me talk a little bit about the editathons that we have. We just finished an editathon. I don't know if there's anyone here and participated. Can I see a hand emoji if you participated in the previous editathon? Well, and I hope you really enjoyed it because, well, for me, it was fun seeing the contributions that you made. And today, I'm going to tell you that we're going to start a new one. We are going to, yes, thank you so much, Adamu. We are starting a new editathon that is going to start on Monday. I hope you're excited about it. And this editathon is going to focus on women's rights. So you can see we are not far from, it's not far from what you're talking about. It's not far from what this whole year theme around women is about. So the editathon is focusing on women's rights. We're going to create articles, you're going to edit articles, refine them, add items to articles of ladies who have made meaningful contribution to the society, and so that the contributions allow us as women to enjoy our rights, our freedoms as it should be, and our equality as well. So do not forget to follow up and keep checking what is going on in the fellow group so that you are aware and see the Google link that will be posted. And through this Google link, you're going to share your contributions as someone who's taken part in the editathon contest or as an editor. You're going to share your link to the contributions there so that it allows those who are reviewing or who are grading or uh, attaching scores to do that gracefully and without a lot of hassle. So let's make their work easier, and we'll also make and will also it will all be easy for all of us. And I hope you also enjoy taking part in the contest. And I hope to see some of the names here. I hope Vanessa, I hope I'll see you. I hope I'll see Veronica, and I hope I see a lot of names from here. So other than that, let me now introduce our guest speaker. And her name is Rosie. You can see the lady who has a camera over there. Let's send the relation emojis for her. Rosie's full name is Rosie Stephenson Goodnight. And Rosie has been, or is, she still is, a Wikipedia editor. She has been since 2007. She is also an admin, has been since 2009. She is a Wikipedia visiting scholar at Northeastern University, Boston, United States. And she also served in the Wiki Women Foundation Board of Trustees. That is in 2021 to 2024. She's also a Wikimedia, she also served in the Wikimedia District of Columbia Board of Directors and WMF Affiliations Committee. So I expect to see claps and relations showing how great Rosie has her great contributions. And she's also founder of several projects. She has founded the Wiki Project, Women Writers. She's also a co-founder of the Women in Red. She's also the founder of Wiki Women's User Group, Wiki Conference North America, and the Wiki Women's Summit X Wiki Mania. Wow, wow, Rosie, what an honor to have you here with us. And you know, her efforts did not go unrewarded. And because of these efforts, she was knighted. And you can see the pan over there having her name as Goodnight, and we're here saying that she was knighted and named the Wikipedian of the Year in 2016. And also, Women in Red was shortlisted for the United Nations Women's GemTech Award in 2016. In 2025, Rosie bought a camera and joined the Wiki Portraits, and now she makes home near Sacramento, California, US. Good morning, Rosie. So I'm going to hand over the mic to her. And one of the things that we should appreciate is that we have her here today talking to us about pioneering her rights. And you can see she is literally a pioneer of people of really important projects that have contributed to a woman's well-being in this Wikimedia community. And as I hand over the mic, let me see claps, let me see ululations. And Rosie, you're welcome. We cannot wait to hear what you have for us. The mic is yours.
Well, thank you so very much for that warm welcome. Very appreciated. It's 5:22 in the morning, my time. So excuse me for having to say that my computer still feels like it's asleep. And it is not I'm not able to run my slide deck. I tried before I got on the call, and I tried once I was first on the call, and it still doesn't work. So I appreciate if someone on your side is running my slide deck. That said, I'm honored to be here. I really am. I recognize some of you. There are many of you that I don't, but I mean, it's just wonderful that you feel like you wanted to hear from me. So I hope I do a good job for you. I do want you to know I'm speaking from my heart. All right, so I've been introduced. You understand we're going to be speaking on the topic of pioneering her right. Next slide, please. You see our agenda. I was asked to speak on several topics, 3 topics, and each of the 3 topics has subtopics. Frankly, I could have spent 2 hours on any one of these, but I only have 2 hours to speak with you. So if I seem a little bit rushed, it's because I want to make sure there's time for you to be able to ask questions. What I want to do is when I'm done with each of these 3 sections, I'm going to pause and I'm going to open it up for questions because each section is so rich with information. I don't want you to forget what you might have wanted to ask me. And I'll ask the moderator to assure that whoever's asking questions gets called on in the right order. I can't keep an eye on the chat and also keep an eye on the slide deck and keep an eye on what's happening on the screen. All right, so here we go. Next slide, please. So if the topic of today is pioneering her right, then where do we start? In my mind, we start with the role of society, and it could not have been better said than Simone de Beauvoir in 1949 in her book, Le Deuxième Sexe, translated as The Second Sex, referring to women. She said, "It is not women's inferiority that has determined their historical insignificance. It is their historical insignificance that has doomed them to inferiority. Well, frankly, Wiki women and our allies who are on this call, I want to see us get uplifted from this doomed inferiority. And I know a thing or two about how to help us along on that path. So let's talk about those things. Next slide. Our first section is strategies for countering gender biases on Wikipedia. Mind you, I didn't pick these objectives in the agenda. I was asked to speak on them. So if you feel like, wow, these are really good things, I have to thank our facilitators and moderators for being the ones to pick it. I love this slide. Take a look at it. I didn't write it. Someone else wrote it at a Wikimania. Stop, collaborate, and hustle. I'm going to ask each of you when you leave here today, if you don't remember anything, remember these words. Stop doing things the way you've been doing. Instead, collaborate more amongst yourselves, amongst ourselves, and hustle. And you're going to be on the road to success. And to prove it, look at the next group on the right, that photo. Those Wiki women stopped what they were doing. They collaborated, they hustled, and you can see the joy in their faces. Next slide. So there are 4 different ways to achieve this priority. And the first one is organizing editing initiatives. We tend to call them wiki projects, but there are other words for them. Sometimes we call them a community of wiki women. You are such a project, but organizing editing initiatives are super important. It's places where we wiki women alone can meet. We didn't start this ourselves. I must give credit where credit is due. This was started in Mexico City, by Carmen Alcazar, who is now the executive director of Wikimedia Mexico. She started something that she named Editatona, female editathon. She did this because she found that when women in her city tried to run editathons, there were more men that would come than women, and the women felt overwhelmed. They felt like their voices weren't heard because there was no room for them. And so she spoke with some of the men who were part of Wikimedia Mexico and said, can we have our own space where we do our own editathons? We will join the regular editathons that Wikimedia Mexico does, but please, we would like our own space. And they were given that. And there were men who assured that these women could walk to that space and be safe in walking to this space, not be harassed, not be discriminated against for asking for this space. And that's how they became successful. As you may know, Carmen joined the Wiki Women Task Force. I think I see 1 or 2 of you on this call who's part of that Wiki Women Task Force. She was also named a Wikipedian of the Year laureate 2 or 3 years ago. She's accomplished much, and we, all of us, we owe a lot to her for that inspiring idea of having a wiki project where women can be alone together to edit. All right, what else? There's things like the Gender Gap Task Force, which is a specialized task force on English Wikipedia, and we're here to talk about English Wikipedia. So let me start by saying the Gender Gap Task Force is another great way for you to get involved beyond just editing. There are other ways. This African Wiki Women Skill Workshop, it's a great way to get together. Not only are you going to necessarily sit down together at some point and edit, but you hear each other's points of view. You call in experts and you listen to them. I hope when you listen, you remember some of it. I'm going to share this slide deck on Commons. Once I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and share then the URL for it. So again, you don't have to remember everything I said. You're going to have access to it. Next slide. All right. What else is our priority? We have to diversify the editor base. Are you aware of the percentages? The last survey that got published by the Wikimedia Foundation was published January 2025. The survey was done in 2024. There was a survey done in 2025. It just hasn't been published yet, maybe soon. So the statistic I'm going to share with you is a statistic from January 2025. And it says that the percentage of women who edit Wikipedia is 13%. 13%. We're a small group. So seeing you on this call, it's just so heartwarming to know that you wanted to give up 2 hours of your precious volunteer time to come and listen to someone talk about Wikipedia. You're here to listen, to learn, but hopefully you're also here to edit. And we're going to get to that, how we're going to be able to take you from an editor into other places. So let's talk about that. Next slide. One way is we've got to deal with changing policies and having some content reform. The notability standard was written on English Wikipedia in 2001. That's 25 years ago. Who were the editors 25 years ago? Let me tell you, the majority of them were white, cis men. They wrote the policy. It's been tweaked a little bit since then, but not very much. The policy as it stands now favors white cis men. It sets a very high bar for what it takes to be considered notable on Wikipedia. Notable on Wikipedia is not the same as notable in the real world. Take, for example, someone who's a TikToker or on Insta, and they have 2 million followers. They're very notable in the real world, but if there aren't references, reliable sources, we call them, to support who they are and what they've done, if we don't have those written forms of sources, we're not going to write their article. They're not going to meet the notability standard of Wikipedia. That's not just TikTokers and people on Insta. That's women too. Historically, think about this. 500 years ago, how many women generals were there in this world? Not many. So if you look at the articles on Wikipedia about generals or colonels or lieutenants of 500 years ago, there are going to be no articles, or maybe 1 or 2, about women because they didn't have that job. They weren't a general. But fast forward in time to 100 years ago, 200 years ago, there were women poets, women pianists, and so forth. But where are the articles about them? Society wasn't writing as much about women 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 50 years ago, 10 years ago. It's getting a little bit better. But if society doesn't write more about women, if they interview a man and a woman at the same time and then write up the article that you end up reading, and they write 5 paragraphs about the man and 2 paragraphs about the woman, how are you going to write a good Wikipedia biography about the woman if there's little about her? It'll be easy to write the one about the man. There's lots of information. So if we can't change the policy regarding how we look at reliable sources, then we're stuck with what we have. And that is, you must become a good researcher. You must find all those sources out there to be able to piece together her biography so that you can get it written. Because if you don't, if you can't piece it together, you're stuck. You might write her biography, and then what happens? You know what happens. It gets deleted, right? We've all been there. Or I should say, most people have been there. I've written just over 2,500 women's biographies. None of them have been deleted. Why? I have learned how to, let's say, game the system so that I understand the requirements as we have them now, the way they were written 25 years ago. And I play by those rules. It's not easy, but I've learned to adapt what I do so that I write an article and she sticks. It doesn't get deleted. I beg you to do the same. Learn the rules around who's notable. Don't write the article if she isn't, because you've wasted your precious time. Instead, write the articles about the ones who meet the requirement that was set by men 25 years ago. In the meantime, also spend your time meeting together and talking about how do we make small changes one at a time to the different policies that we have. I'll tell you one place we can do it. We're going to have this conversation at the Wiki Women Summit, an annual event the day before Wikimania, where we meet for 8 hours online and in person. And we're going to have discussion rooms where we're going to have these discussions. I hope you join those of us who are going to be there. All right, enough of that. Next slide. Oh, I love this slide. Take a look at who is circled. Take a look who isn't circled. We have to up our game in our technical expertise and look for ways to have cultural changes. One way is, let's learn how to be the photographer, the videographer, so that we stand behind the camera, panning the audience, taking those photos, making that video, instead of being the one who sits there and there's someone else who's got the video and they're panning across you. If you look at the faces on those Wiki women, are they smiling? No. But you saw some of the other photos and you're going to see some more, and the women are smiling. So up your game with your technical expertise. I can't teach you technical expertise. I don't have it. I'm not good at that. But there are women who are, and there are allies who are, and learn from them so that you're behind the camera. And look at the other photo that's circled, the other person circled. Who is holding the microphone? Who is speaking? In that room full of women, who is speaking? I didn't take this photo. I didn't place this photo in the African Wiki Women Skill Workshop page. Someone else put this photo in there. And I can tell you, I really appreciate that you did, because it shows what actually happens at some of the African Wiki Women meetups. And that's what this is. It shows who's holding the microphone and who's making the video and who's sitting there listening and watching, and not being the one who is in front of the bus, but who's sitting in the back of the bus. We can change it. Cultural change is not easy, but some of you have mastered it, because I know you. I've seen you in action. I'm going to call you out. Ruby, I'm sorry. I'm calling you out. I see you on my screen. You are the master of being able to figure out how to make these cultural shifts, how to be the one with the microphone. And so, I'm stopping now and I'm applauding you. Let me tell you too, I'm sitting in an Airbnb. I've got a roommate in the room next to me who's sound asleep. I'm at a conference in San Francisco that's going to start at 8 a.m. But listen to me clapping loudly. This is for you, Ruby, and all of you who are here and have started making those cultural change. I hope that some of you who haven't started yet are now going to take the reins and do it too. Let's move on. Let us stop here because when we move on, we're moving to a new topic. Do we have questions? And moderator, let me know what the questions are because I can't see and do everything at one time. And it's okay if there's no questions yet and they happen at the very end.
Okay, yeah, so thank you, Rosie. Currently, we do not have any questions in the chat.
Okay.
So I think maybe at the end of the your session, we might have questions. So we might just take it together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's move on. Next slide, please. Slide number 9. I was asked to speak about pathways to advanced roles. And take a look at this photo because this is a pathway to advanced roles. Stand up and be heard. Stand up and share what you have. Be brave. Improve the way you use tools on Wikipedia. It is not easy, but I am 72 years old. If I can frickin' learn how to use some of them, you young ladies, you can learn too. I may not be the one who teaches you, but you are a large community. And there are those of you who do know, who are capable. And I ask you to share with the others. Make space in your meetings where you teach each other something that you know that the person next to you doesn't. And then once you have learned, learn how to utilize that technology and deal with data. Learn how the data that you collect about the African women that you believe are notable, that should have an article, how to prioritize whose article gets written and whose article isn't going to get written today because there isn't enough information. You need data for that. Learn how to find that data, how to then share that data amongst yourselves. Next slide. There are lots of ways to get extended rights. And some of these are written here. These are the top of the bar. These are ones that very few Wikimedians have. Some of these rights are only available on Wikipedia, the blue ones. Some of them are only available across MetaWiki. Some of them are across everything, the green ones. So we won't focus on these. The bar is very high. Instead, let's go to the next page and talk about things that are the first ones that you're going to reach. And the first one that you can reach happens to you automatically. If you've been a Wikipedian for 4 days, at least 4 days, and you've made at least 10 edits, did you know that you are considered an auto-confirmed editor? You're not auto-confirmed if you haven't been around 4 days and you have 10 edits. So that's all of you who have 9 edits or have been around for 3 days. But you are auto-confirmed, and that grants you certain rights. You can see there the link that will tell you what they are. We won't spend time going over it, but you see the link. And again, you're going to have access to the slide deck, so you don't have to be taking a screenshot if that's too much to manage. And you can see what that right gives you. Those of you who've been around for at least 30 days and have made 500 edits on English Wikipedia, so it doesn't count if you've made 100 on English Wikipedia, 200 on Wikidata, 200 on Commons. It's got to be 500 on English Wikipedia. You are an extended confirmed editor, and that gives you additional rights that you may not even know that you hold. You have them, though. Go read about what has been given to you automatically because you've managed to stick around more than a month and you've made at least 500 edits on English Wikipedia. Mind you, I keep saying English Wikipedia because the policies on every language Wikipedia are different. The Wikimedia Foundation has no right to impose any kind of policies on any language Wikipedia. We, the volunteer community, on Swahili Wikipedia, on English Wikipedia, on French Wikipedia, we make our own. And so if you're an extended confirmed editor on English Wikipedia, that does not mean you are also an extended confirmed editor on French Wikipedia. So just to be clear about that, I'm only talking about English Wikipedia here. Some of you I know coordinate events. You order the pizza, you bring in the soda, you make sure there's a venue, you make sure there's a microphone, you make sure someone who had a slide deck has sent in their slide deck. You make all of those preparations. And then people walk into the room and they're part of your group and you want to have an event, a wiki event, and you ask them if you don't have an account, please now go ahead, create your account. And only the first 10 people can create the account because that's the limit per IP address on any one given day, but not if you have event coordinator rights. Any admin can give you event coordinator rights if they trust you. I'm an admin, so you know at least one. I'm sure you know others. So take advantage of this. If you have success at running events, and you don't have event coordinator rights, read up about what it is, what you have to be capable of doing, and then reach out to an admin. There will be links to that when you read about event coordinator rights, and ask for it. Be bold. Next slide. This is really important. The right to be a participant in articles for creation. You are creating articles. Your articles are going to articles for creation. Some volunteer is reviewing them after your article has sat there for 2 months. And then they're writing a note to you saying you need more sources, or you need this, or you need that. Who are these volunteers that are writing that note to you? Well, it's my 15-year-old next door neighbor. It's somebody else's aunt in Siberia. It's people who are nameless and faceless, but they have this. Their account is at least 3 months old. They've made at least a certain amount of edits. They've learned how to create articles. They know the rules. The rules are the policies. And so they get to review your article. I want that to be you. I want you reviewing your next door neighbor's article. Not having someone in Serbia or Siberia do it. They can do it too, but you can do it. You can do it. Read about it. It's a certain type of right that gets given to you. You apply for it. There's a link there. You don't have to be an admin, which is a very high bar, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So please take a look at that and see, what do I have to do to be able to be the reviewer? Because once you're the reviewer, and other women part of the Africa Wiki Women group know that you're one of the reviewers, they can reach out to you and say, my article has been sitting there for 2 months. No one has looked at it. If you have time and inclination, would you please look at it? Then they don't have to wait for someone from Serbia, Siberia, or California to do the reviewing. By the way, I do not participate in articles for creation. My volunteer time is spent doing other things. Let's go on to the next page and I'll tell you what I do. Do you know that every new article that goes from articles for creation and goes into main space, or never was in articles for creation and is in main space, unless you are a certain type of auto-confirmed editor, your articles, every single one of them, is seen in a feed. And people like me, an admin, or someone who has new page patrol reviewer rights, reviews it and makes this decision, in or out. Keep it, don't keep it. If I choose to keep it, I can also add templates. The template might say the lead is too short. Add more categories. The article is an orphan. You've seen those templates on the articles you've written. They're added by people like you and me. But for your article to stay in and not be deleted, it gets reviewed by someone who is a new page patroller. And these reviewers, it can be you. You can do that. Read about it, see what you have to do to get this kind of a right. If you have questions about it, I am a prolific new page patrol reviewer. Ask me. You'll have my email. Send me an email. Ask me. I'd be glad to help you. It's not rocket science. All right, move on. Next slide. I know the big goal is to become an administrator. There's a really high bar to achieve being an administrator, but it is not insurmountable. You can achieve it. There are things you have to know. What do I need to know in order to run for being an administrator? Right now, that's probably hazy, like, I don't know, what do I need to know? What do I need to do? Let me teach you. Next slide. If you go to the page for running for an administrator, it gives you this information. It tells you there are 2 policies that you should already know. There are 7 general policies you should know, and it gives you links to them. You don't have to memorize them. You just read them, because no one is going to be in a Zoom call with you asking you questions where you have to recite the answer. You need awareness of them. So you click the link and you read it, and you have achieved your goal. I've read it. I'm aware of it. I move on. Now I read the next page they want me to read. Yes, there's a lot of pages to read. You want to be an admin? Read them. You don't have to memorize them. Just read them so you're aware that they exist. Because if you're an admin, you have to be capable of blocking somebody. You have to be capable of deleting an article. This is going to teach you those kinds of things. So just read the information. It never goes away. You can always go back to it once you're an admin, right? Move on. Next slide. This also comes for the request for adminship. There's an overview. It tells you the additional features that are granted to administrators. It tells you about the actions that are publicly logged. So every time I delete something, it's publicly logged. You have access to see what it is that I've deleted. We don't have to belabor this, because this too is written for you on that page. So the slide just before it had several links. All of them lead back to this overview for you. I want you to look at the next slide, slide 17, because this is where the value is. In July 2025, a group of editors ran for admin. And once or twice a year since then, we have a new way of becoming an admin where you join as a group. And on the same day, the group says, each of us wants to be an admin. Each of them gets asked the same questions, and then the voting starts. These are the results from July 2025. You can see the name, the username of the person, the year they registered their account, the number of edits that they had, if they were elected or not elected, and then a link to their RFA, a link to the way they answered the questions. Again, when you're thinking about, oh my God, I have to answer questions. Yes, you have to answer questions. Editors ask them, and you have to answer them over a course of 7 days. It's highly stressful. Plan for 7 days of your life when you can take that stress, but it's worth it. Even if you lose the first time, you are going to learn some valuable things because people will have given you feedback on where you can improve. Today, you do not have that feedback because you haven't run for adminship. So I encourage you, take a look at these links that I've provided to you, not now, obviously later, and see how people answered questions. Some of the questions are, what's the best article that you've ever written? What's your favorite article that you ever wrote? It'll say, I see on this talk page, you had an argument with someone. Tell me about it. What happened? There are various questions that are going to be asked of you. So you don't have to worry today. My gosh, what are they going to ask me? You know the answer. You know what they're going to ask you because the answer is on these links. The same questions get asked of each person who runs. So there you go. Here's the answer to what questions are they going to ask me. Learn from that and prepare yourself. If one of the questions were, I'm making this up, tell me the 10 best articles you've ever written. You know you're going to need to write at least 10 pretty good articles. If the question is, tell me one article that you've written, you know you need to have written at least one. I won't belabor the point. I'm going to just say, take a look at this. This is instrumental in learning. If I want to be an admin, what do I need to do? No longer will any of you be able to say to me, I don't know what I need to do to become an admin because I have given it to you right here. Here are more than a dozen people whose adminship is being shared with you, and you know what it takes to be successful and what it takes to not be successful. At least they weren't successful July 2025. Some of these people may have run again 6 months later, 12 months later, and be successful. You never know. Don't give up. And let me say, it was easier when I ran in May 2009. Things just keep getting harder and harder. And if they keep getting harder and harder, won't it be better for you to run in 2026 rather than waiting 10 years when it might be even harder? So I encourage you, read what these people have written, learn from them. And if you still want to be an admin, meaning you want to be able to delete things, you want to be able to block people, that's basically what we do. Then read here and learn what it is that you need to do. Next slide, please. Now we're moving on to the next thing I was asked to speak about, which were some practical tips. And the first were the tips for editing Wikipedia. And here they are. Some of this might seem like, oh, I know this, but maybe not. So I will encourage you to listen to me. Register an account. Maybe some of you still haven't done it. That's okay. It's easy to do. On English Wikipedia, in the right-hand corner of every page, talk page, main page, draft page, policy page, template page, top right-hand corner, it says log in. And if you aren't logged in and you click that and you don't have an account, all you have to do is figure out your username, what name you want to use that hasn't been used by someone else, and figure out what password you want to have, and that's it. Now you're an editor. So please register an account. Learn the 5 pillars. I won't belabor them now, but one of them is, the last one is, there are no rules. Be bold. There are no rules. Learn what the other 4 are. When I say be bold, I also say be bold but not reckless. That means don't be a vandal. I doubt any of you are a vandal or have been a vandal, but guess what? In 2016, when I was named Wikipedian of the Year, it was the first year that Jimmy Wales gave that honor to a woman. And guess what? Not just one woman, he gave it to two, Emily Templewood and me. Emily Templewood's first edit happened when she was 12 years old, and she was a vandal. And this is what she wrote. My sister is a butthead. She learned quickly that's called vandalism, and she stopped. Instead, she read the policies, and within a year or two, she became an admin. No one knew she was then 14 because we're all anonymous, right? Unless we wish to disclose who we are. She learned the rules. She became an admin. She became a prolific editor. And by 2016, with me, we were Wikipedian of the Year. So be bold, don't be reckless, don't be a vandal. Know your audience. Your audience is twofold. One are all the readers in the world who are reading the work that you are doing, whether you're improving the article or you're creating the new article. That's an audience. But your audience is also all the editors who might be scrutinizing your work and deciding to put a template on it. You need more categories, or this article's an orphan, or you need more references, or I'm nominating this for deletion. So that's your secondary audience, are editors who are reviewing articles and deciding, do I want to do some template on here, including nominating this for deletion? This is a different audience than the grandmother in California who is reading the work that you've done. So you need that awareness with every edit that you make. Who is it that you're writing to? Take care in remembering that as you make your edit. Do not infringe copyright. This can be tough because you not only need to know the copyright of your country and abide by it, you need to know the copyright of the United States because that's where the foundation is located, and we have to abide by the copyright rules of the United States. So you have to learn twofold what they are and abide by both. Do not infringe on copyright. Number 6, cite, citations for everything. It is not sufficient to write an article and put your sources at the very end. It's okay for some language Wikipedias, not English Wikipedia. English Wikipedia wants a citation at least at the end of every paragraph. If you don't, someone is going to look at that paragraph and they might put a note citation needed. If you have a whole section that has no citations in it, they might put unreferenced section. And when I say they, who's they? Me. Because who's doing new page patrol? Me. And who puts those kind of notices there? Me. So you see it there, cite. Every paragraph, add a citation. If you're not able to put a citation, it means that you came up with that information on your own. So don't write it. Don't bother. Don't spend your precious time writing something that's going to get deleted by somebody. Citations. Next, avoid self-promotion. So do not write about yourself. Do not write about a living family member. If your grandmother was notable and she's dead, you can write about her. Not if she's living. Do not write about other employees of your organization. Do not edit the article about your organization. All of those are conflicts of interest. Don't do them. Number 8, share your expertise. I think we're doing this now, but do more of it. Spend time talking about things you're expert in versus things maybe that you aren't and complain about that. Share the things that you've learned. One at a time, read the various notability policies and spend time with you. Talk about the sports person notability policy. You talk about the musician policy. You talk about the politician one, and you talk about the academician one. Share that information amongst yourself. Don't argue from authority. Well, that's kind of simple. It means if someone writes a note on your talk page and disagrees with your interpretation of a policy, don't argue. Be civil about how you have that conversation. And then number 10, well, that's what we're doing here. Ask for help. Nobody knows everything. Being part of a community gives you the right to ask for help. If what kind of help you're seeking is writing articles about women, come to Women in Red. There are more than 36,000 comments that have been written on that talk page by people like you and me, basically saying, I wrote this article and it's nominated for deletion. Can you help me? I wrote this article. It's still in draft space. Can someone take a look and tell me what I need to do? Those are the kinds of questions you can ask for help. And there are thousands of people looking at that talk page any given day. So someone will answer you quickly. Next slide. Why is it that there's so few of us? An academic group wrote an article in 2012 that's still valid today. We women seem to be averse to conflict. We lack confidence. We don't like criticism of what we do. And that's why there's so few of us compared to men. It doesn't mean that men don't like conflict or lack confidence or don't like criticism. There are a lot of men who are in the same boat. But today I'm speaking to an audience that's mostly you, Wiki women, speaking to you. We don't like conflict. We lack confidence. We suffer from imposter syndrome, including me, including the woman who used to be the first lady of the United States, Michelle Obama. But you have to kind of buckle up and gain that confidence. And if I can do it, you can do it too. Next slide. I was asked, what are some practical tips for conflict resolution? Okay, I could spend 2 hours on conflict resolution. When I served on AFCOM for 6 years, I was for 6 years on the conflict resolution committee, where we worked with different user groups that had conflict with each other in helping them resolve the conflicts that user groups or other affiliates had. But how do you do it in the context of being an editor? Start with number 1, assume good faith. Thank you for your note, Ruby. Assume good faith. You have to understand that when people are writing on a talk page, you don't see them. You don't know if they're writing with a knowledge of English in the country where they learned it, in Serbia or Siberia. I say Serbia because my ancestors are from Serbia. Okay, so I'm hyping Serbia, so pardon me. And I say Siberia because a lot of people who hear the word Serbia think Siberia, but Siberia is a different country, different part of the world. So assume good faith, because we don't all speak English in the same way. We don't all have good days when we're writing notes on your talk page. Maybe it's a bad day and we forgot to start with, hi, I noticed you did this. I think it's not correct. Maybe someone just jumps in and they dump on you. So assume good faith that maybe they're having a bad day, and don't you jump in the same way. Take the high road. Be civil, be pleasant, be professional. Separate the editor from the problem. Whatever it is that this person wants to say to you about what you have done, deal with that and not the tone of the editor. Not that. deal with what is the issue. Only respond to that part. If you aren't able to resolve the conflict yourself, do not worry. There are others who can help. Seek community consensus. How do you do it? In that talk page, ping others to join the conversation. Or go to the Women in Red talk page and say, please look at this conversation, provide a link. We need some help in resolving the conflict about this article regarding this woman. You're not alone. You can ask for help. Do it. Don't think you have to tackle it by yourself. You're less productive. You're spending too much of your valuable time then. Ask for help. Ask, and 20 other women will join the conversation and be able to say, you know what, they're right. It didn't have enough references, but I will stop what I'm doing and I'm going to go find at least one. Okay, next. Thank you for your nice notes. If you can't get the community to help, be aware that there are higher steps. One is called ANI, the Administrator's Notice Board for Incidents. If it's not something your community can resolve or you can resolve this conflict about this article, then people take those issues to the ANI Notice Board, and there the administrators review what is written by people, you, the person who has claimed you did something wrong, and everybody else who wants to chime in their response, and then administrators make some decision. And if they still can't, the highest body on English Wikipedia that resolves conflict is called ARPCOM, the Arbitration Committee. These are administrators who hold the highest rights. I've never been on ARBCOM because I've never run for ARBCOM because I don't like dealing with conflict. So when you're on ARBCOM, you're dealing with all the things where there was conflict that hadn't been resolved, and it's your duty to be the Supreme Court and resolve the conflict. So there you have it, practical tips. It's time for the next slide, ladies. Thank you very much for spending your time with me, for listening, for learning, for paying attention, for wanting to do something more than what you've already done. I will open the floor to questions. A reminder, I speak California English. You speak Ghanaian English. You speak Nigerian English, South African English. So you notice I'm speaking slowly so you understand me. Please speak slowly so I understand you. And I've got headphones on, which means already the sound is distorted. So I'm open if you have questions. Moderator, I'll let you handle that.
Okay, thank you very much, Rosie. Thank you so much. Honestly, this has been a very insightful session. I was literally glued to my, to the phone, literally listening to you. And I can say, I don't know about any other person here, but for a fact, I would definitely be going back to the recording after now to listen over again in order for me to really digest the information which you have passed across today. All right, we going to take questions and answers now so that Rosie can actually answer them before she goes. However, yeah, Ruby says she can listen to Rosie all day. And I feel like I can relate, honestly. I was literally glued to my phone, apparently. All right, before we go to the question and answers, I'd like us to take a photograph. Currently, we have about 53 persons on the call. Kindly turn on your camera. Let's have a photograph session before we go into the questions and answer. Wherever you're joining from Ghana, from Rwanda, from Zimbabwe. When we started, I saw some people from Zimbabwe. We have participants from India. We have Tanzania, we have Botswana. Thank you so much for joining us today. Kindly turn on your camera. I would like to see your faces and have a photograph session. Veronica, let me know once you've taken the photograph. Do we have all our cameras on? Thank you, everyone. Turn on your camera. I would like to see your faces, okay?
Okay.
All right, Veronica, once you've taken it, just let me know so we can move ahead.
All right, let me take one more.
Okay.
Oops. Can I see smiles? Yay. All right.
Okay.
I guess that's okay.
All right, beautiful. Thank you very much. All right, thank you so much, everyone. Now the time for questions and answer has come, and trust me, for me, every session, every workshop, questions and answers are very important. You want to ask questions in order to actually deepen your knowledge about what has been shared. Now we're opening the floor for questions and answers. If you would like to speak, just like Rosie has been speaking to us, we can do it. If she can, we can as well. We'd like to hear your voice as well, but it's fine if you don't want to speak. Kindly drop your questions in the chat box. I'll be going to the chat right now to see if we have any questions. Evelyn says, this has been so impactful. Thank you so much, Evelyn. Honestly, it has been. Okay, if you have questions, you might want to raise your hand or drop in the chat. Now, let me see if you have any hands. Oh, beautiful. I have Pam, I have Ruby, I have Confidence. Okay, 3 persons. Let's have more people, okay? We want questions. All right, without wasting time, I'd like to take the first person. Pam, you're going to be the number 1 person. Then we have Ruby. Then we have Confidence. Now, while Pam, Ruby, and Confidence are asking their questions, if you have questions as well, kindly raise your hand, or you might want to drop your question in the chat. Pam, over to you. You can unmute and ask your question.
Hello, everyone. I am Pamela Ofori-Boateng. I'm originally from Ghana, but I'm currently here in the US pursuing my PhD and still dabbling in Wikimedia stuff. So I'm very happy to have joined this session today because it feels like a refresher course to me. I've been editing since 2017, and this feels like I am reliving all the experiences all over again, and I'm learning a lot. So my question, this is not like a question, but to add to what Rosie initially mentioned about the measure of notability, especially when it comes to the higher standards that we currently have. I have also been, I wouldn't say a victim, but I've experienced that a lot. And I've had some articles deleted over the years. However, as you mentioned, if you're able to re-strategize and work around these notability standards, you are able to pretty much get most of your articles published. And that is what I've been doing over the last few months, and I haven't had any issues. Now, another challenge is still around the notability and the fact that there are several women that I can create articles about, but do not meet the notability standard. So what I'm currently doing personally is that I go the extra mile, which I don't think everybody would want to use their time to do, by speaking to journalists and actually creating articles, like writing articles about these people, having them published, especially if I know that you meet the notability standard, having them published, and then actually use those articles to create the Wikipedia entries. And these are women that I don't know. I just feel like they deserve to have a page. And the fact that they do not meet the notability standard should not prevent us from creating articles on them. So that's one thing that I, personally do to make women visible on Wikipedia. I think I also am happy that we are not alone. Oftentimes, we women or female Wikipedia editors feel alone, especially when we are editing and then our articles are deleted. We don't know who to talk to. We don't know who to reach out to. But now that I know that there is a community that can support us, my interest has rather like awakened instead of dwindling. For some, I think close to a year now, and I think that I have the support that I need to continue to do the work that I do. So thanks to Rosie, and my username is Pambell12 on Wikimedia. Thank you.
Pam, thank you. Bravo. You have mastered what people need to do, which is to spread the word to journalists and other kinds of media to first understand why not write that interview about that woman. Because if we have those interviews about those women, then we can do our work as Wikipedians. There's a group called Women in Religion. They are a user group, and they're also an English Wikipedia group, and they focus on women in religion. What they've done is something similar to what you have done. They have started publishing books on their own that have interviews of women in religion. They're on book number 5. And then once they've published this, they can use that book as the citation for that to write the biography about that woman. They're self-publishing these books. I don't know what it costs. I don't know how they have access to being able to do that. But the point of speaking to journalists and asking them to interview someone, and at speaking to 3 journalists, and each of them interviews her, you've got 3 really good references there, and that's all you need to write that article. One more thing, you mentioned there are multiple notability policies, so I want to say one more word about that. I was for a while mentoring a Wiki woman who lives in Rwanda. And during one of our Tuesday morning sessions, she shared with me an article she had written about a professor. And I looked at the article. There were lots of references. It looked fine, except she did not meet the notability requirement for academicians. So this editor had not read that notability requirement. They just read the regular notability requirement and they thought this person met it. But because she's an academician, there's a higher bar for academicians. You must be a full professor. So not assistant professor, adjunct professor, associate professor, lecturer. You can be a dean, you can be university president, or a full professor. And as this woman that she wrote the article about was not a full professor, the article wasn't going to stick. So thanks for bringing up different notability policies. Yes, they exist. And thanks for reaching out to journalists. I hope more of you do that.
All right, thank you very much, Rosie. So we have some questions in the chat. So Ruby, in confidence, I'd like you to exercise some patience. I'd like to take the questions in the chat. Rosie, I don't know if you can see the questions or you would like me to read them out to you.
Go ahead and read it and I'll find which one. There's a lot in there.
Okay. All right. So we have this question from Reedhe. So Reedhe says, hello, Rosie. Wanted to ask, when we talk about citations and reliable sources, does it mean those sources which are followed by many and is famous either on a global level or continental or national level? Is there some criteria for these sources as well? That's from Reedhe. Okay.
Yeah, good question. Thanks for the question, Reedy. So the answer, it depends. It depends. If the source is considered unreliable because it's LinkedIn, Insta, Pinterest, TikTok, YouTube, you can't use any of those. Those are not reliable. IMDb, you can't use any of those. So stop right there. I'll say those are always out. If the article was written by the local newspaper of your city, it is a reliable source. It doesn't have to be at a national level. It can be your city's newspaper. If the article was written by your neighborhood newspaper, then it becomes iffy because who in the neighborhood wrote that? Is your neighborhood a group of 300 people or 3 people? And will that person in Siberia or Serbia be able to look at that source and be able to figure out, is it valid, or is it like a WordPress reference of a neighborhood community newsletter, in which case it may or may not be considered a reliable source. That's why it's kind of fuzzy. And then remember the human factor, because who is looking at this might be you or me or your next door neighbor or my next door neighbor or the 15-year-old kid who's down the street here in San Francisco, and they feel like they know the right answer to this, and nobody else checks what they have done when they say to you, this is not a reliable source. So make sure that you as a community have some agreement, so that if someone says it's not a reliable source on that talk page, your community has made a decision of what's in and what's out. Your community will know whether that source is reliable or isn't, and then you can argue the point. And again, if we're talking about articles related to women, you have a much larger community than just all of you. You have Women in Red who can help you out. But if your article is regarding a lake, a river, a stream, a video game, a car, a plane, then you have to find others who are going to help support you. Is it a reliable source or not? The short answer is it does not ask to be continental or national. It can be local.
All right. Thank you very much, Rosie. I'm going to take the second question right now. All right, so we have Lokina. Sorry, I chanced upon this beautiful community just a few days ago, and I must say I'm inspired. I want to know how and where to start from. Thank you very much, Lokina. Adenka or Han, can you kindly drop the link to the WhatsApp community? Yes, there is support for people like you who are just joining. We have a lot of resources that would help you in order to navigate, from the fundamental level to, skill your way from the ground up, literally. Thank you so much, Lakina, for actually dropping that here. Now, Rosie, I have the second question from Itoro. Itoro says, "Hi, Rosie. Can I cite a work authored by the person I'm writing an article on? For instance, if I'm writing an article about a woman professor, can I cite one of her published research articles?"
Good question. You can use her citation, her published article, in the section called Selected Works, where you've listed in bullet points all the articles she wrote, all the books she wrote, the chapters that she has authored, the translation she's done. You can use as a citation for that her published work. But in the body of the article, no. It's considered a primary source. The short answer, it's a primary source. If she wrote it, it's a primary source. So we can't use primary sources. Ergo, you can't use it in the body of it. You can put it in external links, or if it's an article she published, you can use it, as I said, in the selected works section. Thanks for the question. Good one.
All right. Thank you very much, Rosie. And I think we have one last question in the chat. I'm going to read that out so I can give Chance an opportunity to Ruby and Confidence to ask their question. This is from Mavel. She says, "Hi, Rosie. Maveli from Cameroon. So nice hearing from you. Please, in which case is it necessary for the sources to be spaced 2 years apart?"
I have never heard a requirement that sources must be 2 years apart. There is no such requirement on English Wikipedia. So you don't have to deal with that.
All right, thank you very much. Maveli, you've heard that from Rosie. There is no such requirement on Wikipedia, either on English Wikipedia or the language Wikipedia. Okay, Ruby, the floor is open. You can ask a question. And Ruby and Confidence, I think you both are left right now. And I would like you to kindly, if you want to make an addition, you want to add some comments to what Rosie has said, kindly make it snappy. We do not want to keep a participant here for a long time. And Rosie, on the other hand, she has a conference to get back to after the workshop. We do not want to keep her here for too long. Thank you. Over to you, Ruby.
Okay, thank you so much, Kalumi, and thank you, Rosie. I've really enjoyed the session and learned so much. And there was one thing that really struck me. You said we should deal with the issue that these admins are tackling and not how they try to express themselves, because sometimes the way that admins express themselves, especially when it comes to articles that they want to delete or argue about, can be really discouraging, and you can be carried away because of their approach. But I'm glad you did touch on that, on how we approach that. My question here again, I think a lot of them have been answered, but I want to know if these stakes or requirements, because it looks like there are a lot of requirements if you want to be an admin, if you want to be an extended rights user, to get some kind of right on Wikipedia is takes a lot. I wanted to know how these rules have evolved over the years. Wikipedia is 25 years. Have they been the same way over 25 years, or have anything changed to ensure that um, more people are included, especially those from our part of the world, Africa and the like, because most of us are not really having that kind of positions in the English Wikipedia, obviously, because English is not also our language. I don't know if that's the reason, but it would be good to have some insight why we are also not like really, represented. There may be a little advice. Yeah. Thank you.
So the history of every policy, of every extended right, is that it's written by volunteers. Who are the majority volunteers? They are white, Anglo-Saxon men who live in Europe and North America. They are the majority. They are the ones who are writing the policies. They are the ones who are deciding, let's have something called extended rights. Let's have an event coordinator right. If we were the majority, we would be writing those. We'd be changing those. We'd be making tweaks. We aren't the majority. So we sit at the back of the bus and we allow others to make those decisions without regard to where you live, what continent you live in the world. It is equally the extended right for an administrator is the same whether you live in Africa, South America, Asia, where you live, it does not matter. If you want to be an admin on English Wikipedia, these are the rules that they have written. And anyone who wants to be an admin without regard to where you live, without regard to your gender, all of us have to abide by what was written by mostly men years ago. They've tweaked things over the years and made things harder. But who wrote it and is there history to it? Yes. And they are white Anglo-Saxon men in North America and in Europe.
Somebody
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, Rosie,
thanks.
we can hear you.
Thanks. Okay, thanks. Ruby, I hope that answered your question.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ruby, for the question. And thank you so much, Rosie, as well. Please, if you're not speaking, kindly mute yourself, please. If you are not speaking, you're not asking a question, kindly mute yourself in order to avoid interference with whosoever is actually speaking, at the moment. All right, I'm confident. I'm tossing the microphone to you. Kindly ask your question.
Good day, everyone. I'm Confidence from Nigeria. I have a question. You said we have 10 simple rules, and number two is learn the 5 pillars. So I want to know the 5 pillars, or is there anywhere I can read it up from, or you can also tell me the 5 pillars on the 10 simple rules you mentioned.
Okay, the 5 pillars. So let me go on Wikipedia and pull up the 5 pillars for you. Give me a second. I will put it in the chat.
Okay.
By the way, you can do it too. It would be WP colon. That's how we start every page that is not an article. WP, short for Wikipedia, WP colon, and then I'm typing 5 pillars. Here it is, it's popping up. And now I will place the link in the chat. There.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. If you want to know the notability policy, type WP colon notability. If you want to know what's a reliable source on Wikipedia, type WP colon reliable source. If you want to know anything that isn't an article, type WP colon, and there you have it.
Okay.
WP capital letters colon, and then 5 pillars, not like that, like uppercase, lowercase, like normal, but capital W, capital P.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Confidence, for your question, and thank you so much, Rosie. To everyone on the call right now, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us today. However, kindly go to okay, yeah, sure, really. You are going to have the link to the slide, to Rosie's slide. Adenka, kindly drop the link to Rosie's slide in the comments for anyone who wants to interact with it after now. Thank you, everyone. Aside from the link to Rosie's slide, we're going to be dropping another link to a survey form. So it's an evaluation for today's workshop. Would like you to fill it, right? It's something that wouldn't take you 5 minutes. 2 minutes, you're done filling. It's actually very, very short. You're welcome, Reedy. You're welcome. It's actually very short. And I think by now the link should have been dropped in the chat. I think I kindly see to that. Thank you so much, Rosie. I guess you're still on the call. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation. When I reached out to you, I was a little bit skeptical. Maybe you're gonna have time or not, because I was even thinking, the space between the time we're having the workshop and when I reached out to you was kind of not too close, not that wide at the same time. But yeah, you were really so happy to actually come on board. Thank you so much for honoring the invitation. Thank you for being at the forefront of championing the bridging of gender gap on Wikimedia projects, Wikipedia, and whole other Wikimedia project. Thank you so much. Rosie, for honoring our invitation and for coming here today. You're currently in a conference in San Francisco, and you still find out a time to actually come on board this, at this hour. It's not really that convenient for you having to because over there, the time over there is a little bit quite early compared to here in Africa, literally. Thank you so much, Rosie, for joining us today. Thank you for the impact you shared. Thank you for sharing your experience and knowledge with us. We really do appreciate it. Okay, so before we started the workshop fully, the moderator, Veronica, shared a very important information regarding the editathon. So we're currently having editathon across for our workshop, right? So we had the editathon for the February edition of the Africa Wiki Women Skill Up workshop, and we are going to be kickstarting the workshop for the April edition on Monday. Now, we encourage you, we urge you to actually join the editathon to contribute. This is a way of you actually bridging the gap on Wikipedia. This is a way of you contributing, championing the cause, and also pushing your own impact within the digital space as well. Now, just like everything Rosie had told us today, in terms of administrators, being an administrator, you want to pursue an advanced rights on Wikipedia, all of these things, goes back to the level of input you have actually put into the community in terms of article creation and all of that. This is your chance in order to contribute. It's your chance to give back to your community, to give back to Africa as an African. If we don't tell our stories, who would? Right. So let's write more about the culture, our heritage of people, about African women, and other topics we are really interested in as Africans. So we urge you and we invite you to join the editathon. It's starting on Monday. Contribute. Once you're registered on the meta page for the April Skill Up workshop, automatically you've been added to the dashboard, which means your contributions will be covered on the dashboard. The contribution, the editathon, we run for 4 weeks, right? So we're starting on Monday, and it's going to run for 4 weeks. Contribute, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you. Once again, I'd like us to drop in the chat some of us where we have joined from. For some of us, we joined quite late and were unable to actually get where we joined from. We'd like to have that data. Where have you joined us from? As you log out, as you exit the core. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Do well to follow Africa Wiki Women across all social media platforms. On Spotify, we have the Africa Wiki Women Voices podcast. On YouTube, Africa Wiki Women. On Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. You can find us there. Thank you so much, everyone. Rosie, thank you from San Francisco. Thank you so much. Thank you. We have Botswana. We have Ghana. We have Rabi from Ghana. We have Elizabeth from Tanzania. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you. We have Itoro from Nigeria. We have Veronica from Kenya. We have Joel from Nigeria. Yeah, thank you, everyone from Kenya, everywhere you have joined from. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really do appreciate your time. Thank you. Adeni from Nigeria, kudos to you. We see you, we celebrate you. Thank you. Thank you, Jeremiah from Nigeria. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you so much. Mavele from Cameroon. Thank you, Mavele from Cameroon. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, everyone. Do have a restful week. Thank you. Thank you. And see you in the next edition of the Africa Wiki Women Skill Up Workshop. Christian from Nigeria. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Star Girl.
Thank you. Hi, Hannah. Thank you.